Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to International Affairs broadcasting live from the SATV's Gulshan studio. My name is Shamsul Aram Pantho. As I bring you the updates regarding the entire planet, not only in the Middle East as well as around the globe. Before I begin the discussion today, I want to introduce my panel. In the studio, we have Major Dr. Khosru Samad, who is, of course, a veterinary doctor in the military as well. And I'm very happy to see you here today. Welcome back onto the program, sir. There is many discussion topics that we will be discussing today. Alongside, we have Norman Floyd Barnes joining us from Washington, District of Columbia. Very good morning to you, Norman. I want to begin with Norman. Donald Trump has a mixed messages regarding the Israel-Iran attack. He said it could be a short-term excursion, according to various media outlets. I want to know how you're feeling about this, because almost 40 has been killed as of last night in residential block attacks in the Iran's capital, Tehran. I want to know how you're feeling, Norman Floyd Barnes.
Good morning. I'm not feeling very optimistic this morning. I'm a little perplexed, confused about the message sent out by our government. President Trump spoke to the public last night, and he gave a very mixed explanation of exactly what we are doing right now. He spoke a period of time, he explained himself, but we still don't understand how this thing is playing out. He mentioned several weeks ago that we're looking at a 4-week operation. He mentioned yesterday that we're looking at hopefully this event is closed, ending to the end. The war is won. But at the same time, same voice, he mentioned that if Iran make any attempt to block the Strait of Hormuz oil traffic, he will come back at them 20 times harder. So we don't really know what that means. There's plans in place for a ground offensive. There's several locations, several scenarios are being discussed right now about how to basically achieve that. The notion of this nuclear disarmament will require boots on the ground.
Right.
The Strait of Hormuz is a choke point, and in order to control that, it will require boots on the ground. They talk about changing of the government, the regime. It will require boots on the ground. So where are these boots coming from? There's discussion about possibly bringing up the draft again. So there's no clear indication of where we're going right now. You know, we're bombing, we're intensifying the bombing, the attacks going on, but we know from the past, from our history, bombing will never win the confrontation in the war. It's an aerial game. We're looking at a country that is based on mountains and deep caves. We tried it before, blowing up their nuclear facility, and was not successful. So there's no real solution put on the table except a ground solution. And I do not believe this administration and the world is prepared to do that. So right now we're in a state of confusion. What's going on? Who's there? The president said, "Well, we will decide when the war is going over." Iran is now responding, stating that we will determine when this event is over. And they also stated that we have a new Ayatollah, and the President Trump said that he should be impacted with that. And they said, well, basically they're telling him it's not your business, it's not your issue, and you don't have any impact on it. So we're getting pushback while the attacks are still going on the Gulf Coast countries, and there's no indication that it's going to stop. It appears to be more intense. We know that they're getting support proxy from Russia and China to achieve this. So
Right.
right now we're looking at a long, proactive campaign, and it appears that Iran is not backing down, even though they said they've been defeated. They're weak. They have no this, where they have no navy. They have whatever. From the appearance and the response, that is not so.
Of
So
course.
thank you.
We understand the great updates coming from Norman Floyd Barnes from Washington, D.C. We understand some of these revelations are coming as very important. The U.S. president suddenly has taken a drastic step back from his timeline of 4 weeks. He's stating that it was a short excursion into this war into Iran. In the studio, I want to focus with Major Dr. Khosrow Samad. You were hearing Norman Floyd Barnes on how these attacks have been happening for the last 11 days. Just last night, Saudi Arabia is saying it intercepted a ballistic missile and 5 attack drones, whereas the Kuwaiti military said it has successfully intercepted and downed 6 drones. It is fair to say the attack is still ongoing. 11 days into it, 200 school girls has been killed as a strike from the U.S. How I am saying it is the U.S. because of using the Tomahawk missile system exclusively made for U.S., made by U.S. So that was, of course, a flagrant violation of international law, targeting common civilians, and this time around it was just schoolgirls. What is your understanding? You are someone with military knowledge. You see the 11 days of war happening. You also probably heard that the fuel crisis issue has been taking a toll on Dhaka. How are you seeing this?
Thank you very much. There are the multi-sectorial factors and multilateral issues is incorporated with the total scenario. As you focus specifically, there is the what are the law of the war? In fact, there is no law of the war. This is the ugliest language of the military thinkers. So there is no law. But obviously there is law. This is the war between the two countries. Ethically, what the things is somebody is doing for the humanitarian purposes? No. This is the egoistic or the barbaric attacks or the specific things which only Trump knows. Let us focus about the UK's repercussions of the Spain, as you come to know already. UK Prime Minister specifically said we should not involve. This is the exclusive issue of the Israel. We are yet to understand the attitude of the Trump specifically, why he is declaring war and keep on continuing, where the United States phenomenon and United States repercussion is different. As you know, he did not take clearance from the Congress. His generals, previous presidents, their feelings is absolutely different. And there are the two military personnel you might have heard, seen from the television. One is the Marine soldier, one is the pilot. Few words about the Marine soldiers. All the soldiers are motivated, and Marine soldiers are most toughest. And they are motivated, and their technology, know-how, military training, ethical spirit, knowledge about the scenario is topmost in the level. But one Marine sergeant in front of all the military leaders, where the motivational phase was going on, he said, listen, I am not joined because this involvement of the USA only for the Israel, and it's a genocide, or the first step of the genocide. So there is no interest of the America, rather it will give the difference between the spirit of the human spirit. Let us go back to the Vietnam War, if we can remember. Vietnam, there is a girl, I forgot the name, 12 years, and she is running. She doesn't have any cloth, and total body was burning because the cluster weapon, like the napalm, so far I remember, it was incorporated in the Vietnam. The same thing happened. So now see what are the other repercussions.
No, this time around they've used white phosphorus in attack, which is condemned worldwide, as the reports from the Human Rights Watch have indicated.
Exactly. Same thing happened in the Saddam's regime. Nuclear warfare is absolutely different. Biological warfare is absolutely. Chemical warfare is absolutely. NBC, it is nuclear, biological, chemical warfare. NBC. This is prohibited by the Geneva law. It's a convention, and it was duly signed by the USA as well. What is their motives? They told Iran as manufacturing the nuclear warfare. That is why they are. So, nuclear warfare was prohibited. That is their one of the reasons. Not to change on the regime, that is not only the reasons. They are saying that they are doing the nuclear warfare. Listen, they are not the United Nations. It is not their job. It is not the job of any country, neither USA, nor UK, nor China, nor the Russia or any world. This is the absolute job of the United Nations, and they have the organized body. They have the separate, like UNESCO having a specific task. United Nations peacekeeper, where I shared one feelings with you in the previous. They have the specific task. So I want to say this is not the task of the primarily USA. So it is a violation of the total warfare. Number two, as you said, war against the war. So we can use the drone, we can use the missile. It may be accepted, but nuclear warfare, it contaminated for the prolonged period, as you know, in the Japan, the fat man and the little boy, two bomb nuclear warfare in the Hiroshima and the Nagasaki. It is more or less 80 years old issue. Still, the child is born with the deformed limbs, deformed.
The chemical outbreak, the nuclear fallout is what you are indicating, and how it has generational damage of those who have survived. It's very important.
Yes,
as you were
So
pointing
it is with a long-term issue. It is a sad part, and maybe there are the other personnel, including in Bangladesh, there is a high risk because there is a lot of the Bangladeshis are in that bigger area. And it is very hard job to make the territory where it goes, the radiation goes, it is very hard job to make the territory. We are yet to know because they might not declare officially.
Right.
Because again the world will tell why you are doing so. But it is their old practice. They did it. They did it in the Vietnam. They did it in the Iraq. So there is every risk they might do it in the Iran as well.
Of course, very interesting updates coming from Major Dr. Khosrow Samad. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to take a short break. After the break, we will understand the rest of the news that is up there in this new global order. To understand how geopolitics shall play into economics, do stay tuned on International Affairs. Hello and welcome to International Affairs, and my name is Shamsul Alam Pantho.
I don't see an easy resolution to this because every slight deviation from the plan,
opening an open war conflict with them,
testing nuclear missiles,
Russia's announcement of these supposedly successful testing,
special and exclusive footage that is being played on SATV screen,
Really coming to terms with Hamas.
Damage estimated between this entire issue.
President Trump is expected to hold bilateral talks.
preserving biodiversity and tackling climate change.
We cannot protect the planet before we negotiate peace.
Where is it going? Is it understanding the needs of its people before the needs of this global world?
For China to come to agreement,
They will face better projects.
With President Xi of China and President Lee of South Korea.
Trump's White House that is in favor of these things.
simply not enough action being taken to address the problem of fossil fuels.
What their plan initially is towards the Caribbean, a place that has been met with two types of disasters.
Bangladeshi students at the same level of opportunity internationally and domestically.
International Affairs. Watch every Sunday to Thursday at 2 p.m. only on SATV and SATV Digital. Hello and welcome to International Affairs, and my name is Shamsul Alam Pantho.
I don't see an easy resolution to this because every slight deviation from the plan,
opening an open war conflict with them,
Testing nuclear missiles.
Russia's announcement of these supposedly successful testing,
special and exclusive footage that is being played on SATV screen.
really coming to terms with Hamas.
Damage estimated between this entire issue.
President Trump is expected to hold bilateral talks.
preserving biodiversity and tackling climate change.
We cannot protect the planet before we negotiate peace.
Where is it going? Is it understanding the needs of its people before the needs of this global world?
For China to come to agreement,
They will face better projects.
with presidency of China and President Lee of South Korea.
Trump's White House that is in favor of these things.
Simply not.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back on International Affairs. Today, I'm joined with Major Dr. Khosrow Samad in the studio, as well as Norman Floyd Burns from Washington, D.C. There is a news that has got out yesterday. I want to ask Norman regarding this. It's coming out of New York. 2 men face charges of providing material support to a terrorist organization and using a weapon of mass destruction after a pair of homemade bombs were tossed during protests near New York City Zohran Mamdani's home on the weekend. So this was important. Of course, federal and of course NYPD vehicles have stopped this blatant attack. What do you make of this, especially coming out Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani being dragged into this kind of issue, security concern? I want to know from Norman Floyd Burns.
yes, we living in a world now, geopolitical world, that no one is immune, protected, and not protected from what's going on in the world. The New York City mayor home was attacked yesterday by a makeshift weapon. We call it weapon of mass destruction. Basically, a homemade bomb made with nails and bolts and a device to set it off. Unfortunately, it did not go off. They caught it on camera. One of the 2 gentlemen threw the device towards the house, and it did not explode at night. Fortunately, that didn't happen. It would have resulted in serious injuries and death to many, many people in that area. They are 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds. They're basically saying they've been inspired by ISIS to do this. So they was taken into custody, is being investigated on exactly what's going on. But basically, this is a indication of the world status, what's going on. People are not pleased with what's happening in the world. They're not briefed on exactly what role is going on, and they are acting out in a manner which they think they can do. There's many instigators, there are many bad actors want to take upon the situation in Iran to set their platform on and to create a skirmish, to create a problem around the world. So this investigation is going on by the Joint Terrorism Task Force, FBI, which I used to be involved with. They are looking at this, looking at it as a serious issue. But this is what we're going to see moving forward. Prevailing, we will have a lot of these situations, a lot of these issues going to be with schools, universities, public officials, government officials, anywhere they can cause a problem. That's what's going on in the United States. The Gen Zs are basically not happy with the administration. The latest poll is that we are not supporting this war. The people are not supporting the war, and they are now acting out. So both parties are going to use this as a platform to basically to incite a change, a shift. So as we deal with overseas in the Middle East and South America and other parts of the world, the country itself is imploding.
Of course.
Thank you.
Important update regarding the world status and this event that happened in New York and the residence of Zohran Mamdani. There is some news. I want to come back in the studio with Dr. Khosrow Samad. Please. You are hearing Norman, and there is an issue regarding wartime reporting. As a journalist myself, I want to bring out a news that might be of a shocker. Iran's Tasnim news agency published a report yesterday promoting speculation that Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu may have been killed or wounded. This is coming from the Iranian media, and yet we do not have any kind of confirmation from the Israeli side. Let me compare this. When Ayatollah Ali Khamenei was struck, no one would have believed it so up until an Iranian media outlet had confirmed his death. So we are waiting for that news that would the Israeli side would have to confirm. But I want to talk about an issue that pertains to Bangladesh. Last time you were here, sir, we talked about Jungle Selimpur. It had made headlines yesterday as 4,000 security personnel has finally raided this illegal landmass belonging to terrorists and drug traffickers. And of course, the killing of a fellow RAB member was involved. Last time you picked it out. How are you seeing this issue? What are your observations, especially as I mentioned, wartime reporting?
Thank you very much. This is the island between the island. This is the space between the another space. This is the country within the country. And more or less the no-match zone. Because last 1 year, more than 1 year, total army, law enforcing agency and others was mostly concentrated about the reform issue, then the election issue. So their main focus was the others. In this time, the Salimpur become the, the god, the terrorist. And as you said, so this is the drug traffickers, the all anti-social activities, and they are the heavy armaments. Because to kill a RAB personnel, it does mean that it reflects they are the conditions of the armaments, they are the godfather behind the scenario,
right.
and many more. So it was needed to restore the peace, especially soon after the election, where this is one of the commitment of the new government to restore the peace. So there is every risk to exploit this Selimpur by the many personnel, right, for their own purposes.
Correct.
And the money making issue is a very big deal. It's a very large area. So since it is, as I said, there is a very vulnerable place. So to handle these things is a very delicate for the government. So to send some armaments, it is not the solution. That is why the heavy armaments was sent, and successfully total places are the recognized, and the every inch was searched. But one thing should be, we will be more happy if we could find out the alligators or the criminals,
the real perpetrators who have been using this land.
Hopefully, this is the process has already been started. Hopefully, in the near future, the criminals should be taken onto the
I am sure there will be some leads coming out of Jungle Selimpur, as the security forces now have at least 2 stations that they have just set up. Of course, it should be used as a military site just to keep it protected, just to keep 3,000 acres of government khas land protected.
Exactly.
And there was another issue that you wanted to point out regarding the murderers of Shahid Osman Hadi, who have been caught in India by the security forces, as you were talking about. How are you feeling about this? When they shall be repatriated and facing justice is a matter of time.
Thank you very much. That was a very sensational issue. Hadi was a real patriot, and we have seen the repercussion after his death. Total nation was mourned, and Dhaka city was, there is a huge people gathered in his last funerals. Well, what happened usually? When the criminal could not be identified, there are many hypotheses proposes, many speculations proposes. It happened in the same way. But it hurts us when we saw from the unauthorized sources that it is involved with the pro-patriot, even Bangladesh military. Though it is an unauthorized source, and none believes, even then it is, since it is told, so it becomes a moral obligation for the patriotic organizations. Previously, they gave the total biodata and the scenario of the criminals. But since they have already crossed the Bangladeshi borders, so it is very hard job to invade the other countries and find out the criminals, especially for the defense personnel.
Right.
So it becomes the diplomatic issue more than the military issue. So we have tried, that means Bangladesh have tried to settle the issue by the diplomatic way. But we are unfortunate, we are yet to know what is the repercussions of the India, and what is the philosophy of the India, and what is the equation of the India, why it was not solved by the diplomatic way. Ultimately, the specific organization, to tell you very frankly, the name of the organization, DGFI, because nothing to hide in this, the time of the electronic devices oriented.
Information is now
very
available.
open, very open. So better to tell the right things, because before the wrong speculation.
Right.
The Director General of the DGFI, he himself went to the India and shows all the facts and figures, and he requested personally and from the organization himself, obviously, that we have come to know that this stupid, that criminal, he is in this India and this specific locality. So we need the solution. Be specific, arrest him and hand it over to us. So from his official request, it was honored, and India does not have anything, in their hands, because they have sent these the documents. The criminal is in your hands, and they see the the Hadi, the followers and the other personals.
Right.
That is why they have already arrested. Now it is the process going on. Bangladesh, from the Ministry of Home and other allied organizations who are concerned with it, they have already officially requested to hand over the criminals, and inshallah by the course of the time the criminal will be handed over to the Bangladesh and he will be taken into task and expecting the highest punishment through the proper procedures.
Of course, wonderful comments regarding this active situation between the two neighbors, India and our nation, Bangladesh. I must thank you, Dr. Khosrow Samad. Very important, valuable updates and insights towards international affairs. I must thank you for being here today. Alongside, I must also thank Norman Floyd Barnes, who is numerously joining us almost every day on this very broadcast. I thank him for his journalistic aspects and views. Ladies and gentlemen, as I end the program, today is March the 10th. Of course, Prime Minister Tariq Rahman has opened and is now providing the family card issue, the family card program to communities who do not have access to proper common needs and wants. I must thank the Prime Minister for taking such an initiative and to deliver this initiative on the very month of Ramadan. Ladies and gentlemen, that was it for today. I shall catch you all on tomorrow's International Affairs.